So in my last video, I made this thing, and I actually thought about it at the time, but then a few comments said, oh hey, I should build a crawling hand, like from the Addams Family. And I thought, hey, that sounds like a great idea, and I thought it would be fun, so I'm gonna build that. I think pretty much instantly what we should go for is a general, like, hand shape. And I'm not certain how to do that, but I think I can go something like this, and then I can duplicate this over to here, and then over to there. And I don't think that's going to be big enough, so I might want to... I don't want it to be that wide. Maybe we can add some panels here, some 2x2 panels there. Also, yes, JC Art, I'm using the 2x2. I know that you said something about those at some point. And then I kind of want a joint in the hand so I can have it bend, like right here before the knuckles. So I think that that'll work out like that, and then I can have that and that. And then how are we doing on hand shape? It's very symmetrical, but I don't think it's that bad. So I've built out a little bit of a palm. I tried to get this shape right, but it's not fully there. This is supposed to be like a thumb. And I made it so that I can bend it like this, and this is going to be how it kind of crawls around. And I kind of want to have a wrist on the back here that stays flat, just like for a little bit. I want to see, is that how I do that? Yes, it seems to be. Okay, so I did a lot more form building and then kind of forgot to do any check-ins, but you know what, it's fine. I moved the seat to the back. We have this little, like, slope here, so that when this bends in, we get, like, a nice little hand shift. There are two, panels right here and two panels right here, just to make that merge a little bit better. You can see them in there. It's just to close off that gap a little bit more. We have the hand curving, we have a little bit on the thumb there. And now I think it's time to fill out the fingers more. Because currently, this is just like a little, basically, attachment point for them. And I want them to be, like, attached to this. I think one of the best ways to do that is just gonna end up being by using some logic in the things, in the individual fingers themselves. And I think something that I'm gonna need for that is, I'm definitely gonna need some XOR gates. So I'm just gonna automatically put some of those in, because I know that I'll need them. We are gonna do four fingers. You know how they, how hands are notoriously hard to draw? Yeah, as it turns out, they're notoriously hard to build as well. And due to size, I think we're actually going to have these be on hinges, because my initial plan was to put these on steering servos, and I think you can see the problem with that is that if this is too tall, then this can't connect to anything in front of it. So I'm actually going to use these instead. And then I also just added some classic NOR gates right here. I want to connect... I want to do something with these, but I don't think I can, because we have these fingers like right next to each other. Although I've put these little round tube blocks, the rounded 1x2s, and I kind of like that, and I think that they do separate it, so if I just go ahead and swap that around, yeah, that is just decent. Then I'm going to put the NOR gates into these, so that naturally those are curling a little bit, although I want them to curl the other direction. So we're going to flip these... Oh, we're not going to flip them like that, because while that would flip them, that would also change which one is linked to what, so we have to do that one by one, like so. Spawn that in, and now those are going down, and while I don't think that this is like a good normal position, I want all of the fingers that are not moving to go to this position, so this is going to be the default. Think about it like lifting your fingers and you're moving them one by one. And then we're going to have another segment, but I honestly think that it can just be the exact same thing again. And I don't think that that's too bad. The next segment is like a little bit shorter, and I'm not sure how to portray that correctly, but I don't know. So I added another segment, I added some tips to the fingers, and then I hooked the keys up to be 1, 2, 3, 4. It's basically just controlled by my own hand right now. So that's kinda cool. But it's not perfect, and I want to hook up these two. I've unhooked all of the NOR gates from these, because I realized that that's not super what I want right now. Those ones are both going to be 1, these ones are both going to be on 2, these ones both on 3, 3, these two on 4. And what can I do here? Okay, so that's not how fingers bend. That is how fingers bend if they are broken. Um, I'm confused. Okay, that works. That works. That works. That one did not get reset. Okay. Oh, it's because I set these on that one and not on the reverse like the rest. Okay. Both of those need to be on 1. So then we have this, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, that's not that. That's 1 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think that this is going to work more. I think we need to adjust the angles and increase them. But I do think it's going to work. Okay, so right now I have this going, and I'm not sure. It's definitely not crawling. If anything, it's going backwards, and I think it's because they're re-extending on the go back. And I think I just need that. I think I need that to be inverted. So what we have to do for that is hook those up into each of their individual gates, like so. And then I think I can just bind this one to 1, bind this one to 2, bind this one to 3, and bind this one to 4. And if I press 4... Okay, so now that's going in the opposite direction, so what we do is we select all of these and set the output to -1, and then it's like how I want it to be. So then if I'm pressing 1, 2, 3, 4, then it is completely backwards. However, what I want it to be, I accidentally pressed space, is that when I'm actually pressing the buttons on these, it disables it. So if I have 4, it should be disabling the NOR gate, which is causing this to trigger, but it's not, because this itself is still on 4. And I didn't know that until I looked at that, but I set it as if I did. And I think I actually might need to do the opposite, because while this is extending to push forwards, it's only extending after it touches the ground, which is kind of against the point. And since these are at 2 speed, and I don't really want to set them to hold position in lack of them going backwards, I think that I might have to come up with a different solution on how to make them go down, or I might need to make it so that on the upstroke, like on going up like that, that's when they actually extend. I kind of want to use a system of pistons to extend the finger a little bit when it's on the down, because it's a lot faster. Except the problem with that is I don't want it to extend to the full length, so what I'm actually going to do is have it completely inverted. So I'm going to have all of these starting position to be like 0.33, and then these are going to send a negative signal to each of these, so that way it is auto-contracting, but it's at 0.33. And after some trial and error, I've got it working. I have added suspension, I've moved the seat a little bit, and I've changed some of the angles, but I've got it working in a manner that I actually kind of like. So, but this is still pressing 1, 2, 3, 4, and I did some testing, and I found that a decent speed is about 260 inputs per minute. So now I have to divide that by 60, and then divide 1 by that, and then I'll get how long I need to wait between each. 1 divided by 4.3 is 0.232, so I'm just going to put 0.23. There's that long string of numbers afterwards, but I think what we need to do is take the XOR gates out of here, and if I can get away with doing that, which it seems like I can with nothing messing up, I can put them back later. but I can have all of these going at the same key, W, and then I need it to go for 0.23, which ironically is what I would have done before, just automatically, which is really funny. And then I need to stagger these, not quite by 0.23. You know, I'm just going to start off staggering them by 0.23. So here we have 0.23, and then we can tune it from there. Then we have 0.46, that is double that, plus another 0.23 would be 0.69, and then that should be, yeah, that's about what I expected. And then I want to give a positive input to all of the NOR gates, so I'm actually going to make sure that the positive one is the one going down on this, and then I can hook all of these up into that. But I also have to do that for these ones, this one, this one, this one. I staggered these out just a little bit because I can, and also it helps them from grinding against each other, which seems a little counterintuitive because one would think that they would have more flux further apart. But it's actually better than I've seen so far, so it's not too bad. Then all of these, red is going up, green is going down, so that should work. All I should have to do now is hook this up to this, and that. This gate doesn't do anything right now, but I just wanted to have it in case we do need it, but I don't think we do. But if I hook each of these up into their 3 respective gates, and by gates I mean logic connections, then this should all work out just fine. And actually, this hinge isn't even doing anything right now. It's just there as like a flex point. And most of the work here is the NOR gates running into the piston. So then if we go from here, how is this going? I think that that's a little too short, and also I think that there's an error connecting this to, yep, there's that error. I need them to have a longer duration. Right now, if I press 1, 2, 3, 4, it straight up just breaks the hand. But if I do this, then it is kind of moving along, but it's moving more similarly to a crab, and I kind of want them to have a longer duration. So we're still going to have 0.23 be the difference between them, but honestly, I think 0.46 would make more sense for the duration and pause, or somewhere around there, because that was... I was thinking about the time in between them, not thinking about, oh hey, I need 2 of these to be active at once. So that if I go like this, that is perfect. That is exactly what I wanted. So that if I put these back into their slots, just down here, then that should be all I really need to do. And it's kind of working as a crawling hand. Except when I just put that in there, it was slower, and I'm not certain why. So I'm actually going to take these out of that part of the hand, and I guess put them down here. Because that would make sense. I mean, I don't have to have them in the individual fingers, but I wonder why it's so much slower with them. Is it just like a friction thing, maybe? So just like having a block next to a block here? Oh, it was like I was connecting them together, wasn't I? I didn't have them properly orientated for that, did I? Nope. I had it like this, which not the best for that. Okay. Okay, now all of these are separated out. Let's see it now. Yeah, that is going the 10 to 12 that I was used to. It's not going like 8 and staggering itself. Okay, that's much better. Okay, so I think that looks not bad. I think that looks pretty good. So we can walk around, we can stop walking. I did actually program a little jump into the thumb, so it can kind of hop around a little bit as well. And then you can just hop along as you need. Like I said, you can walk. It's not the fastest, but I'm honestly pretty happy with it. You can also turn using the gyro. It's a little bit, it leans into it, but I think that's kind of cool. And then if you press space, you can just completely go into normal hand position. Well, it's a little bit flat, but you know. And then you can do that. And you can still do that. The thumb does go 90 degrees for the jump, but you know what, it's fine. It only goes like that much for that. And the 90 degrees in this position doesn't seem that off. but I like it. Let's paint it up. Okay, so with that all painted, I think we're about good to go here. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that this was what you all were looking for with the hand build. It is a little bit odd, and I don't like that I had to use pistons, but I don't hate it either. And I hope you enjoyed. See ya.